Hello and welcome to the Sports Bench with Greg and friends to part two of the LA Lakers this year. I want to start by talking about new ownership with the Lakers. Mark Walters, who owns the Los Angeles Dodgers, majority stakeholder with the Dodgers, has of course bought the Lakers this year, and he is making subtle changes in the team. But I'm curious whether or not he's going to make major changes like what he did with the Dodgers. You remember when the Dodgers were acquired by him, they had a kind of a mixed roster, kind of an older roster, and they started making some trades and making some changes almost right away. And certainly in the front office, they did. So with the Lakers, we talked about this, they laid off 12 people, but I'm wondering if it's going to go further before we go into the draft and all of the other different things going on here in the off season. But I think myself, they're going to go on with still with Rob Pelinka as the general manager, and he will be foreseeing the draft and also probably running free agency this year. And if that's going to be the case, then I think the Lakers will go with trying to run the same team back. I mean, I just don't see where they're going to improve unless they let LeBron James walk, and I don't think they're going to. I just I've talked about it, the weaknesses of having LeBron, the positives of having LeBron. But the bottom line is he's 41 years old, and he's not playing like he did when he was in his 20s, obviously. And he can't play defense very much anymore. He plays it in spurts, as I've talked about. But basically, he's kind of disguised in the defense. He's kind of staying in one position, staying near the basket. The Lakers are running kind of a soft zone, and basically he's kind of floating a little bit, so he doesn't have to run so much and doesn't have to stay with his man necessarily. But I've just noticed a decrease in his defensive abilities playing this last year and the year before. Again, he can play defense in spurts, but he loses his man often. He doesn't usually box out for rebounds. In fact, sometimes he's not even under the basket or even going to the basket for rebounds. He's waiting for someone else to rebound, and then he can get the ball and dribble up the floor. So I don't think the Lakers are going to change, at least this year. Because I think if that would be the case, they would have already made some changes. They would have maybe fired Rob Pelinka, brought in somebody else, and get a whole new attitude with that. But since they haven't done that now and we're late after the season, I think that my prediction is they're going to go ahead and they're going to run this team back, and they'll get LeBron for less money, but not a whole less money. So, unless they're willing to move on from LeBron and get that $53 million and apply it someplace else, I just don't see things changing. I don't. Now, in my opinion, and this is what you talked about, I like to go back in history a little bit. So let's talk about, since the Lakers won the bubble championship, the teams that have won the championship. All right, so in 2021, the Bucks won the championship. Kind of a mixture of a younger and older team together, but they won that year. After that, the Warriors, they rebuilt through the draft, and they also got some signings, and they won the championship after that. Then, of course, the Nuggets won. Again, they're a mixture of a younger and older team, veterans together with younger players. But that's when it changed. When we go next year, in 2024, we're looking at the Boston Celtics that won the championship, and they rebuilt through the draft. They were a younger team. It all accumulated all to that point. They won a championship. It appeared like they did it the right way. They rebuilt in the ways that they needed to be able to win a championship. The year after that, in 2025, of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder won, and they're a young team. There's not that much veterans, anything on that team. They had a few players that were veterans that they signed in, but they built their team through the draft, which means that they had to really suck for a couple of years to be able to get low enough in the draft, be able to get quality, good players, generational players possibly. So they won the championship. They're young. Now, what's going on this year, and starting tonight with the finals, is that you've got the young San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks. And the Knicks are a combination of a younger and also older team. They've got a lot of veterans on their team versus a team that are basically babies that rebuilt through the draft. I mean, they got a rookie starting They got, a generational player in Wemby. They got a lot of great things going for them. So I'm kind of interested to really see tonight how this series kind of works its way out and see who's going to win the crown and be the championship. Will it be a younger team again, or will it be an older team? So, it's kind of interesting to look at that. Now, what amazed me is that when the Thunder was playing San Antonio in that game 7 here a couple of days ago, the way the defense stepped up on San Antonio. I mean, they were everywhere. Now, that last minute in the 7th game where the Thunder was trailing by quite a few points, they were throwing up every shot they could. They were trying to get scores, 3-pointers, trying to make up the gap in that time. They kept getting the rebounds. The San Antonio Spurs were losing the 50-50 ball. But even with that, they were still playing great defense. You watched that last minute of play, they were all over. They had hands in their face. They were playing with such great energy, such great defense, that the Thunder could not pull it off. They could not make their shots, so they lost. All right. So there's something to be said about being younger and playing with such a great energy level to be able to play such a great defense. So again, going into the NBA Finals now, this current edition of the Spurs has never been to the championship. So what's going to happen? So that leads me to the philosophy with the Lakers. They're at, right now at this point, they're getting ready to re-sign Austin Reaves for as much as $40 million a year. Maybe going to re-sign James for, who knows, $25, $30 million a year. Would he go that low? Do you want to sign him? That's the other thing. And if you do that, you're not really going to be able to run the team back very differently. It's going to be the same. In fact, it might even be less, because Rob Pelinka is nickel and diming, trying to find ways to improve the team. And no matter what he does, it's always a flawed roster. There isn't anything that is possible to be done. You have to have money under that cap space to be able to sign players or trade for players, to be able to create that cap space to be able to sign really good players that's going to help you, especially on defense. So, like I say, I think the Lakers are going to pretty much be the same next year. It'll be a retirement year for LeBron. He's going to love that. The Lakers are going to be there and going to have to go through the season. But the biggest thing is they're sacrificing another season of Luka Doncic. He's going to be a year older before they can rebuild around him. Now, they've been saying that they want to rebuild the team around Luka Doncic, and at the same time, they're saying they want to sign LeBron James. Well, which is it? You can't do both, but evidently that's what they're thinking, and I just don't see it happening. Now, my point of view is if you've got enough talent on your team, but you're not sure about whether or not it's going to really ever lead you to the finals, you probably should burn it down and go through the draft and rebuild the team in the right way. But that takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of years of losing, and you don't have a star that'll sell tickets. And that's one of the number one things the Lakers always want. They want a player on the roster that's going to be able to sell tickets. And LeBron James has been that ticket for the last 6 years. No matter where he goes, no matter how old he is, there are people that are still going to pay good money to see him play. And that's what I think primarily Rob Pelinka and the ownership of the Lakers with Jeannie Buss has been. It's been about selling tickets instead of winning. You win enough to get in the playoffs, but you never get to the finals. But hey, you got LeBron James. You're still selling tickets. You're still profitable. So hey, what's there to argue about, right? But to me, as a Laker fan, it's the Lakers. I don't care about the selling the tickets. That's not where I'm coming from. I want to see a good product, a team that's going to win championships and win in the finals and be there every year. That's what I'd like to see. And the only way I see that happening, and this is just my opinion, is that they just burn it down. Basically, instead of signing Austin Reaves, let's get some picks for him, maybe a good young player. Same thing with LeBron. Just let him walk. Go ahead, let's let him walk out the door. Let's save that $53 million for somebody else. And finally, talking about Luka Doncic, the problem that I have with all three of the Lakers stars is, and I said it in the other video, not to be redundant, but they don't play defense. They choose not to play defense. And all their mechanics in playing defense is wrong. So they're always going to be scored on. You're not going to have that complete team at the starting lineup that's going to all be able to play good defense and be able to go offense. So what if you were to go ahead and say, and again, this is just a theory, what if you traded Luka Doncic? Why not trade him back to Dallas? What would Dallas do? Do you think Dallas would take him back? Well, I don't know. The whole reason that Luka Doncic was traded and Nico Harrison made that choice, you remember what came out in the headlines was that Luka Doncic didn't stay in shape. He was injured often, and basically he was kind of lazy, and especially on defense. So Nico Harrison decided, well, I'm going to go out and get myself a good defensive player, and they got AD. All right, problem is with AD, same thing. He's injured every year. You can't count on him to be there in the important times. And this year in the playoffs with the Lakers, Luka Doncic was not there when they were in the playoffs because why? He was injured. Exactly what Nico Harrison had been talking about. So going to the future, is this going to continue? Is he going to continually be not in shape or not? What's going to happen with Luka Doncic? So instead of gambling with that, why not go ahead and trade him to another team, not necessarily Dallas. Get yourself a ton of picks and maybe a good young player or two and rebuild the Lakers right now. If you had enough, like maybe 5 or 6 number 1 picks in the next couple of years, you could be right back challenging in the finals for the NBA championship with a young team. And the biggest reason you would do that, number 1 reason is payroll. Okay, rookies don't make as much money as the superstars, so you get a lot of hard workers that are working together. They play as a team, such as you're seeing with San Antonio right now. And where are they? In the finals. So that's my video for tonight. Again, that's my part 2. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please give me a like. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. That would be great. You guys have a great night. We will talk to you on my next video. Bye-bye.